Welcome to this month's newsletter. Today is March 28th. Looking at the S&P 500, we'll start with a longer term time frame chart here, monthly. As you can see, we are still holding in spite of the big drop this month, and we're still holding the long-term Ichimoku cloud. We are below the monthly Kijun and the Tenkan. The Shikao is in the congestion area. Also, notice one more thing, that the bulls have held their long-term support line here. So it did bounce off that thing. Not to say that they won't break it, but at this point, you do have a flat monthly Kijun here to provide support. And if they do go into go up here, then we do have a strong support area. At this point, can they break it in the next 2 days or even in April? It's quite possible. The Kumo is in a flux. That's a chance that they can break. But at this point, at least the bulls have shown that they are willing to defend this uptrend line and the long-term Kumo. We can go to the weekly charts. The weekly is definitely bearish. We're below the Kumo. But they have maintained this uptrend line and formed a bullish engulfing signal here. So at this point, notice this red line is the 200 week moving average. We bounced off that in December of 18, and this time we fell through it. We came back up and tested that line and seemed to have failed. So next week is decisive. We do have a flat Kumo here, which is going to act as resistance. So definitely it can go either way at this point. If you are not in the market, this would if you want to buy positions for long term, this might be a good place to accumulate positions. But if you're trading, this is a very volatile market, so you got to be extremely careful with your stop losses, given the 1,000-point moves in the Dow. Looking at the 1-year chart of the S&P, at this point we are over the Kijun, or rather we are over the Tenkan. The Kijun is trending down, and it is going to start heavily dropping here in the next few days. So chances are we might be coming down here to test the flat Tenkan and then rally back up. So that could be one possible scenario. If they do break below the Tenkan, then we could be looking at the next wave down, especially given that the Kijun is going to come down fast at this point. The situation is the same thing with the Dow. We did hold the longer term trend line here, and at this point we did do a same with SPX. We did do a bullish kicker, very strong signal here, and now we have a bearish Haromi. So this could be looking at, depending on the news. Remember, this is a very news driven, a fundamental driven market, so technical plays a backseat to the news driven markets. We do hold longer, bigger support levels. You definitely should look at that, but it is definitely going to be driven by short-term news coming out of the entire world at this point. Looking at oil, that's the big concern here. Still in a downtrend on the daily. Looking at the weekly, still in a downtrend, though it is getting stretched off a little ways from the flat Kijun. Keep in mind, the Kijun is not going to move here because this is the high and this is the low. Unless they break the lows, it can go down, but if they don't break the lows, it's going to be flat, which is going to attract prices back to itself. But as far as support, if you look at monthly, it has and go all the way back down to 19.9. That's where the major support is around the $10 area. Really small support here around the $18 area from back in 2001. But the major support is back down to the $10, $11 area. So that's concerning for the big oil companies. Good for the consumers, I guess. Gold, on the other hand, might be ready to test its 1800 all-time highs, 1800 to 1900 range. It's a nice breakout on the monthly charts, Shikao breakout. That test the Kijun, monthly Kijun is still up. So gold is definitely up in an uptrend. UUP for the dollar does have a huge range this month. Shikao is in a breakout area though, but they definitely have to break out over this range of around 27 to go up. So only with a close about that 27.2 area UUP can be. That would be a good buy. As far as stocks, Google, really nothing there. It's Chicago is in a congestion zone on the monthly charts. It did hold the monthly cloud, so it is bullish on the monthly. Um, it held the 200-week moving average with a bullish engulfing. Keep in mind that there's going to be heavy resistance via the flat Seneca B Kumo. So I would not want to be buying Google as yet. Remember, there's difference between longer term investing and short term trading. You definitely don't want to buy Google on the swing charts at this point. Um, but for longer term investing, if your fundamentals justify it, you could look at positions, but not for swing trading. Netflix is one of the few stocks which is holding even the daily Kumo at this point. Chicago is in a congestion zone, so this would be the stock I would look at for when the market reverses and starts becoming bullish. This would be one of the stocks I would definitely be interested in as the Chicago does a breakout. Microsoft is another stock which is probably holding your weekly Kumo. Notice the Chicago bumped off this support level. One more stock to keep on your watch list when the market reverses, and this comes in a better position above the Kijun and the Tenkan on the weekly charts. It could set up good positions on the good setup on the daily. And somebody asked about Apple. Apple on the daily fighting the 200-day moving average, and looking at the weekly, still holding above the weekly cloud, still bounced off the support level. Kijun bounced off the support level here. Notice that this 228 area is support for Apple, so it did bounce off that with a bullish engulfing signal. I would want confirmation before I buy this stock. Again, in this kind of market, there's really no hurry because you might be up today and then down tomorrow again. So really no need to hurry, no need to be a hero here. Just wait for the market to settle out before buying the long side. That'll be it.